something on you, but we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to share a little, probably about a 5 or 6 minute video clip off of one of the programs that was on TV this week. And then I want to talk about it a little bit and share some insights that this man, God given this man, and some things that God gave me along the lines of it. We're still talking about the kingdom power. And what I want to do today is take this little insert of this video and apply it to this series that we're teaching on kingdom power, and show you that as kingdom kids, that we have the power to transform, power to create, you know. In Genesis it says, let everything bring forth after its own kind. So think about this. When you have an attitude, you're bringing forth after your own kind. Don't allow that attitude to be manifested so it can bring forth after its own kind. You know, attitude begets an attitude. Go to somebody and display an attitude and see how quick they pick it up and display it back on you. It happens, okay? But we can do that same thing by blessing them. Go with an attitude of love and blessings to people, and you will see that it will begin to bring forth an attitude of love and blessings back to you. The principles that God made in the very beginning, God so loved the world that he did what? He gave. He gave his very best. He gave his only begotten Son. And you know what happens? The principle of giving. Give and it shall be given unto you. What happened? God's got a world of believers that's been given back to him now because he gave first. He set the example. He showed us the way. We can do the same thing. This guy makes a statement in here that negativity is the cancer of the spirit. Boy, when he said that, it really clicked in my mind. I thought, we get so wrapped up in negativity so easily. It doesn't take much. All you have to do is watch the news for 5 minutes and you can be bummed out and full of negativity. Just go downtown and sit down and have a cup of coffee and listen to the people talk around you. You can grab all of that negativity and it begets negativity. Okay? Let everything bring forth after its own kind. So as children of God, as children of the kingdom, kids of the kingdom, I want you to start thinking differently. And I want you to see the day this man used to be part of the power team. I don't know if anybody remembers the power team, but they was the ones that would, muscle builders would go in there and they would break up take big bars and bend them and rip big thick phone books in half and break big 400-pound blocks of ice and go through cinder blocks and break them all up. They did a lot of amazing things, and it was a good illustrated teaching of the power of God. Well, he's went on now to establish a couple of churches, and they had him on, I think it was CBN, on Pat Robinson's show, and I'm going to share this little clip and listen to what he has to say. Then I'm going to share some things that come back.
In an age of brutal recessions and college degrees that lead to no jobs, many young people drift, feel hopeless.
They've been disillusioned by their parents' marriage didn't work. They're disillusioned by a society that doesn't seem to be working.
Pastor Keith Craft leads one of Texas's most youthful megachurches and one of the fastest growing. He says everyone can shake off disillusionment and drift, can replace them with a powerful, transformed life. This bodybuilding leader of Elevate Life Church in Frisco says it starts with realizing and totally accepting you are a one-of-a-kind creation of God, formed to do a unique mission on the earth. The same God who said, "Let there be light," and created a universe, also said, "Let there be you."
I believe every person has a deposit of God's glory that nobody's ever had, that nobody ever will.
He calls it Your Divine Fingerprint, the title of his new book. Kraft points to Christ's words in John chapter 17.
The 22nd verse, it says, he says, "God, you've given me your glory, and now I give it to them."
If you'll do what it takes to live up to your God-given potential and purpose, Kraft says the world can be blessed by that unique glory in you.
Because through you, they'll see a part of God that nobody's ever seen.
But to get it out, you need positive words to communicate the glory.
Out of your heart flow the issues of life, and out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
One of Kraft's main points is that our life, our destiny, is shaped by our words, for good or bad, the ones we say inside our heads and to others. When you think about it, God, with a word, created worlds. And we, in a very real way, shape our world by our words.
Our words have that much power to form our world and to change our world. If you'll change your words, you can change your life. As much as a judge condemns a criminal to prison, with words we can condemn our own lives or bless them. Your life sentences sentence your life. God sends powerful positive words and sentences our way every day. But Kraft tells his congregation and readers the problem is we often block them and even our divine destiny with constant negative words, both thought and said. And that's easy when we can self-talk in our head 500 words a minute, many more than we can take in from the outside. Through our words that never come out of our mouth, we shut down the words that we could be receiving that could change our life for the better. I call negativity the cancer of the spirit. As he puts it, negative people negate themselves. So Kraft insists you must learn to block the negative and speak God-given positive sentences like the first ones he himself says every morning. This is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Our words give God something to work with, or our words give the devil something to work with. And that's why it's so important that we speak positive. But there's much more to transforming your life and the world than just words. As Kraft and others at Elevate Life point out, you need to be intentional about your life, like intentionally honing your talents, because they're often a sign of what God put you on earth to do. You need to know what your core values are so you can live by a standard. You need to align yourself with people you can respect, love, and serve, and who will love you back. And it matters what you actually do day by day. At Elevate Life, they talk a lot about doing servant leadership. If you serve as a lifestyle, it leads others by your example how to live more godly, generous lives themselves. Or as Kraft might put it, you begin to elevate and transform the world around you. When you're living in such a way that you create followable excellence, that people say, I want to go where you're going because I see it evidenced in your life. Intentional, generous serving also makes you valuable to others. And when people value you, they often throw open doors of opportunity for you. When the economy tanked, Kraft suggested to Elevate Life members losing their jobs that they volunteer to keep working in their workplaces for free till they find a new job. And I'm telling you, it revolutionized some people's lives. There was one guy who was did that for 6 months, and his boss came back to him and said, I'm leaving this company and starting a new company. You're my first hire. Kraft points out if you'll live to serve God and do good for others, they'll want to do good for you, and so will God. Find a need and not fill it. Find a need and serve it. And if you'll do that, your greatness will be on display, not tuned to a station, WIIFM, what's in it for me, but you'll be doing things out of a heart to serve others. And you know what? God loves that, and he'll put his hand on your life. Paul Strand, CBN News, reporting from Elevate Life in Frisco, Texas.
I wanted you to see that this morning because it's a teaching that's been around for a long time, but it's been misused and applied as a formula, and because of the formula, people have got disillusioned and said, well, it doesn't really work for me. You can turn that light back on if you want back there, and open those pages on it. They say, well, it doesn't really work for me, and I've tried it and it didn't work. Well, the reason that is because man always wants to take something and make it like a formula. This is how you do it, and this will make it work. Well, the words come from the heart, and if you really want to see transformation and change, those words have to flow from the desires of the heart, not the desires of the mind. Sometimes we say and do things because we think this is what we really want, we think this is what we really need, and that's coming from the soulish realm rather than the spirit, and we find ourselves in a big old mess and can't figure out how in the world did I get here. So if you listen to what he said, and I'm going to go back and review just a couple things because that little clip, he said a mouthful, and a lot of people I don't think really picked up on it. They heard it, but they didn't really hear it. And I want to go back and review a little bit of that. Then I want to add some of my own thoughts in on that and share those with you this morning. But you know, you can replace that disillusionment and that drifting mentality, he said, and it can be you can have your life transformed. Paul said it this way: "Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed." How? How are you transformed? By the renewing of your mind. How do you get your mind renewed? You submit it to the Lord. You allow Him to transform you. He transforms it through His Word. Now remember this, that God spoke everything into existence, okay? And He caused something to come out of nothing. So if He's going to renew you, He's going to speak to you, and He's going to cause you to be transformed. That word transformed there in the Greek literally means the metamorphosis. It means to be changed like a caterpillar into a butterfly. A total transformation. So that is the desire that we should have. We want to, if you've been living a life of negativity, you want to live a life that is positive, a life that is refreshing, one that is people would enjoy being around instead of shunning you when you come close to them. And so the only way that can happen is to have your mind renewed and transformed so that you can do what? So that you can speak life and not death. That your words will begin to emanate what is in the heart. Because it is a continuous flow. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Why does it speak what's in the heart? Because out of the heart is the issues of life. They flow from the heart. So when you start to allow the heart to speak, it will work its way up and come out of your mouth, and you'll begin to speak the things that God would have you do and have you to understand. So if you really want to change your world, you have to change your words. And if you're going to change your words, you have to change your thinking. And that is a process. And so don't try to pick up a magical formula and say, if I do this, this, and this will work. No. Ask God to refresh your heart, to renew your heart, to give you a heart towards Him. And then you will begin to see that as you begin to understand Him and understand who you are in Him, your words will begin to reflect that because your thinking is being changed. You're seeing yourself in a new light. You're seeing yourself in a positive light. You're seeing yourself with some value. You're beginning to see yourself created in the image of God, able to do the things that, that God wants you to do. You are one of a kind. You have been formed to perform a unique mission on this earth. In other words, you have a destiny. God has given you and me a special destiny that only you can really fulfill and only I can fulfill. Now, if we choose not to do it, it doesn't mean that God's work will not get accomplished. God will raise somebody else up to do it. However, they will not do it as well as you could because you were created for that purpose. Okay? The same God, He said, that said, let there be light, said, let there be you. Want you to understand and see the importance of the individuality. Every person, He said, has a deposit of God and His glory within him that no one else has, no one else has ever had before, and no one else will ever have again. That's how unique you are. When you were born, when God created you in your mother's womb, He deposited Himself in you. That's the Spirit. That is His Spirit. That's called the Spirit of life. Okay? That's how you become alive. God's Spirit is on you. When you're dead, you still have blood in your body, but the blood has no life in it. The only way they can keep the organs even functioning is to put you on a machine and pump that blood through you to try to keep your organs functioning. But once you die, the Spirit of life is removed from your body, and there is death there. There is no more life. So when God put the Spirit of life in you at conception, that's when it happened, for those of you that don't know, that is His glory, that is His presence, that is His life, that is His life Spirit in you. And so what we see is He's deposited His glory in each and every one of us. That's what makes you so unique. You're unique because he says in his teachings, that pastor's teaching, Cliff's teachings, was that he wrote a book on the fingerprint of God. And the reason he done that is because there's no two people in the world that have the exact same fingerprint. His wife is an identical twin. He said they are so identical, you can put them side by side and you can't tell them apart. And he said, but that gene had been split and they each have a unique, separate fingerprint. It's not the same, even though they look the same. Even though they think a lot alike. They're separate. Nobody has your fingerprint. Now think about this. God in his spirit infused, this is another message in itself, and one of these days I'll preach on this because this is exciting stuff to me. I mean, I didn't think about this till this morning. I got to think about this morning. I was in here by myself and I had a little hallelujah spell because God himself deposits in you life. And then he says, I'm creating in you a special, unique sign. We want signs all the time. He's creating a sign in you. It's called a fingerprint. But your fingerprint is not only unique to you because it makes you stand out amongst all the world, but it's unique to me as well because I infuse my fingerprint in with your fingerprint. They become one. So you don't share your fingerprint with anybody else but God. When you think about that, that's exciting stuff. You have a direct seal. You have been sealed. You have been labeled, if you will, as being part of God's. For the time you was conceived, God has laid claims on you. We're in covenant relationship with God. And so what he's done is he's infused himself into the sign of your fingerprints. Showing your own unique individuality coupled with God. I don't know about you, but I'm going to preach on that sometimes. That is exciting stuff. But today, I've got to get back to where I'm going. God's word in John 17, that's the Lord's Prayer, the whole chapter of John 17, is Jesus is praying to the Father. And in the 22nd verse, he said, you gave me your glory, and I'm giving it to them. What's it for? Why does God give us his glory? What is the glory of God? The glory of God is the presence of God. It's the power of God. It's the might of God. God gave you his power. He gave you his presence. He gave you his might. Why? So that you could be a sign to the world of the love and commitment that God has for you. So you, in turn, can have love and commitment for the world. See, this is where this is all about. God told me a long time ago, he said, you'll carry the manifest glory of God. And I didn't have a clue what he meant by it. I studied for years trying to figure out, what do you mean by that, God? You'll carry the manifest glory